just like right. I mean, they could get in without doing anything at this major.
They could.
Theoretically.
They could. Soniqs, they're pretty close too. They're pretty close. They've got like 600 or something. I think they could technically get really lucky. Probably not. Probably not. But they need a win.
They need like a top 4. Top 6.
Top 6 would do it.
Top 6. And they would be very happy with that, of course. As we get ourselves into the game, and no surprise, because it was not banned actually, it was banned in second phase, the Lone Druid. But Matu taking it for himself in the first phase this time around to make sure that he has that comfort pick. Apparently, you played a pub with him recently where he carried you.
Oh, yeah.
On the Lone Druid.
I was saying that my team really sucked, and then I realized that Matu was the carry there. I was reminded by that. Some of the chatters stream there.
Okay, good.
I said, of course, everybody but Lone Druid sucks.
Yes, of course. Matu is very good.
Yeah, that is a TI winner indeed. Did win one of those.
But part of the draft differential this time around, I think the only difference in the first phase bans was that Puck was not banned, which means Quinn gets it for himself. So that ends up being a comfort pick. Puck might be considered, at least in NA, like one of the games that is the strongest hero in the game to a lot of teams.
It is. Particularly good against Marcy. It's very hard to connect on. Not on a Dazzle, though.
Yeah, Fata looks to be in a bit of trouble. Yawar ends up taking the bounty rune for himself. He has the Fury Swipes ready to go, but Fata looks like he's going to get first blooded by Boxy. So Yawar just going to get another right click in, not even, actually. He'll have to waddle his way back to the lane. And, I mean, that's one thing what I do want to talk about is the waddling from Ursa, a.k.a. the kite ability of the hero.
Yeah.
Do you think Liquid has an acceptable lineup to kite this bear?
I do. It is difficult to play Ursa into Lone Druid sometimes. I feel like he gets, you ult and then he roots you, and then you're like, oh, I got status resistance, and then he just roots you again. That can happen. There's the fear. There's Marcy that's going to be disposing people. Chihiro has long-range stun, lots of slows. So yeah, I do think there are options here for Liquid to deal with the Ursa.
But if he's able to right-click, he can obviously kill any hero in the game. But the fact that you have a lot of high HP heroes on Liquid, like Lone Druid, obviously with the ult, you got 3 strength heroes in the middle there, and then Jakiro for an hit hero, pretty damn tanky.
Pretty good stats, yeah. It does feel like one of those games that if Yawar gets a really great start and has like a 1 item advantage, maybe he gets his Diffusal Blade and like picks up a couple of kills with it, gets a 1 item advantage.
Oh yeah, that's the hook right there.
Tries to go for the range creep. He's going for the snipe. This is it.
So for people that, I'm sure a decent amount of people that are watching the major that haven't gotten to watch the DPC. So take us through why Pudge is being played as position 1 generally these days.
Yeah, so
sometimes we see mid, occasionally support maybe.
It's a much better core. Basically, his Flesh Heap got changed so that you can activate it, and it gives you damage block. Don't trust the tooltip though, because it's not normal damage block, which does not scale with other reductions. With Pudge, if you have a ton of armor and you're damage blocking after the armor reduction. So to a hero like Death Prophet, especially, who's doing damage with Exorcism, these small little damage intervals, she's doing damage with her Spirit Siphon, you do virtually no damage to Pudge. So with items, Pudge is just infinitely tanky. You get an Ags, you also do a ton of damage. It's healing reduction as well, and a lot of people are getting Satanics and Scotties and these sort of like healing trading items on carries. So Pudge is this ridiculous timing when you get the Ags, where you just can't die. You do a ton of AoE magic damage and have this crazy spell lifesteal keeping you maxed out.
And what exactly do you think the build-up into the Ags? Because we do see the Ags as like the second item. We see a lot of phase boots. We see some Vanguards, maybe some hoods. Is that just... this game in particular, do you think either one of those is a better choice? Or both, potentially?
I've seen the Vanguard into like disassemble eventual hood, which it depends on what you think is the like scariest form of damage in the early game. In this one, it's pretty 50-50. Like Ursa's kind of good against Vanguard because he just builds up damage with the Fury Swipes. Death Prophet also doesn't really care about damage blocks, so probably Hood. But Vanguard also, it helps you tank towers. So if you want to run around with the Pudge early and use him to tank towers, so like the Lone Druid could actually take those. They do have a Lone Druid and a Jakiro on Liquid, so they've got a lot of tower push, right? So maybe you want to get the Vanguard on Pudge, so that way you can run around and actually be active with him. It just depends on what they want to do in the game, but generally it's one of those items and then Ags. You never really want to go both, because it delays the timing a little bit too much.
And I actually don't know the answer to this because it's been a decent amount of time since we've seen Ursa. But what is the item build these days? Is it Diffusal anymore?
Like, it's still Diffusal.
Battle Fury is just not a thing, right? These days with Ursa? Because I haven't seen it in a long time.
I have seen the occasional Battle Fury in NA.
That's just NA.
With Monkey Kings and Juggernauts. Not so much on Ursa, but I do feel like we could. There's like a 10 or 20% chance that we could see it. More than likely, it'll be the Diffusal build.
I think considering the lineup they're going against, like Lone Drew's going to push early. Pudge is obviously not something that goes super late necessarily. It's like something that wants to pressure you early as well. Night Stalker in addition, like I don't think you can afford to go for a farming item.
Yeah, it's like the Diffusal almost lets you farm because it gives you kill threat and ability to fight. And if you just go late game, like I feel like an Ursa with 3 items to a Pudge with 4 items, the Ursa still wins that, right? So I don't think you need the extra farm on Ursa. You just need to not lose the game early, and you're pretty comfortable going late against the Pudge. But the Ursa, the Pudge is not the true carry in this game. The Lone Druid is.
I've been seeing it getting burned down by the Spirit Siphon. Looks like that's going to be the first kill for Quincy Crow. Soniqs.
Yes.
Man, that took a while.
Got it.
Holy jeez, that was bad.
You're overheating.
A little mini stroke there. Thinking of Soniqs. That's really difficult when the logo's not there.
The
But
healthcare here, you should be careful having little strokes.
yeah, that is true.
Not
Quite
Sweden
expensive.
anymore.
But we can see in terms of the CS, 27-4 for the Putka, as mid lane Boxy looking for the opening on Quinn, but it's not going to happen. And then Ursa 25-10, so roughly similar position 1 farm. And then mid lane is the real story. Quinn a little bit behind in the mid lane versus the Matu, Lone Druid. It's off the Waning Rift here. The Dispose will be there with the Bear. Actually going to get the first hit root, but see, 2 members of Soniqs come in to try to take out this Bear. And they will not be successful.
If he had coil, I think he actually probably would have coiled the Bear there. Like the big solution to Lone Druid that everybody has been doing, and I think a big reason why the hero fell off for a long time, is because you can just kill the Bear, and it gives more XP and more gold than a hero does. It
gives more XP.
300 XP.
Really?
Yeah, it gives a ton of XP and ton of gold.
Is it a fixed 300 throughout the whole game?
It's a fixed 300, so yeah, so the later the game goes, the less you care, but like in laning, you focus the Bear, and the Bear does not scale with like stat items either, so it is a lot easier to kill. With that being said, there is now the new armor buff where the hero and the Bear like share part armor, and so I think that's a big reason that it's harder to kill the Bear.
Bottom lane, Crippling Fear. Boxing initiated to start things out. Dispose finally used. Fata is here though with the Shadow Wave, and that should scare off the rest of Liquid. So you are going to be just fine here. Of course, it is nighttime, so Zai a lot more powerful than he was a few seconds ago. He has his Helm of the Iron Will, so going for the early armlet for himself.
You know, the nice thing about going Vanguard on carry Pudge is that often there will be Ancient stacks for you, and Vanguard makes it easier to farm Ancient stacks. When you're offlane Pudge, there's not as much these Ancient stacks to go for a hood, so you can fight better.
You can see a coil in the mid lane. It's on Matu, but he just withstands most of it. But you can see it's so much damage coming out from the Exorcism and even the Arctic Burn of MSS. So they end up taking out Matu, which is a big kill. Leslau gets credit for that. Try to use this Exorcism to do some damage to this tier 1 mid as well. And he's going for, he really loves the Spirit Vessel. Yeah, on basically every hero he plays. Obviously, this game is quite good.
Yeah, you're playing against essentially 3 like big tanky boy cores.
It's Vata looks to be dead as Zai pops the ult there. He's gonna get off his grave for the time being, as you are actually in the area, but not gonna do too much to ward off Zai. Get some right clicks in though, and back to farming. He is going Battle Fury.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The NA special.
Very interesting. So I love seeing Battle Fury in this year because you can actually just get tons of items throughout the entire game, but it's about whether you get run over before your second item, which pretty much has to be BKB, I would assume. As another coil comes in. Was that an arcane rune onto Quinn? That felt like quite the low cooldown. Matu back in the mid lane, so Soniqs doing a good job of keeping the kills on their side. MSS, as I say that, the old caster curse. Nope. I think he's gonna be just fine.
That
salve as well.
That would have been really bad for MSS to just feed a solo Pudge farming. Like, this hero, if he does get a couple of kills in the early game, it can, like, he can snowball really hard. You can still see the old, you know, classic Dendy Pudge running around with flesh heap stacks, hooking and killing everything. Like, that can't happen. It's just less common these days because people value farming. But if you run into a Pudge's lane, just die to him. It's like, he'll snowball on you. That's fine.
So he has Vanguard. He's going to be going for those phase boots.
Okay, so...
And it looks like he will be disassembling Vanguard for the hood.
Yeah, he's got...
Unless that's just a casual cloak.
Cloak queued up. I mean, eventually, it's like 175 extra gold to finish it into the hood.
Yep.
And you're going to want the Eternal Shroud for the spell Lifesteal, as well as the mana that it gives you.
Wait, how early do you go Eternal Shroud?
Not early. After your eggs, I think. Yeah, it's like after eggs. You can also sometimes go for Blink after the eggs. It depends on how good you think your team is at, like, getting on the enemy team, which... With Marcy, it's pretty good, and
we've seen a lot of like right after Ags, the BKB as well.
That's also if you want to be safer. I guess the only thing there is like BKB would probably be good in this game just because then you can't get coiled into Ursa just mangling you.
Yeah, the old mangling action.
Yeah, it's not good.
Mickey top of the net worth right now, and. Okay, his build, I keep looking at it because Pudge is such an interesting hero. He looks like he might be going Blink early, but we'll see if he ends up changing his mind or not. No Ags in sight yet, but easy waning rip from Quinn. Gonna stop the initiation to start, but the dispose on top of Quinn as well with the crippling fear from Zai. And that is a big kill going the way of Liquid. As you can see, the TP's come in from Soniqs, but not able to get any collateral. So Quinn ended up getting disposed on, and that actually cost him his life. Very unfortunate for him. It looks to be A-okay. The exorcism kind of wasted, feels like. And even Yawar came in, despite going for a Battle Fury build, wants to take part in these fights, which we've seen him do a lot on basically every carry, it feels like. But he doesn't really go Battle Fury on a lot of carries.
It does kind of feel like if you don't show up to push towers, or to deal with tower pushes as a carry, you can, oh man.
Yeah, we got the coil. It's going to be broken right off the bat. Mickey looks to be okay. As a rebound coming in from Boxy. Enrage, Yawar. Looks like he's not going to be able to catch up thanks to the hook save.
All right, Marcy Pudge.
A lot of mobility.
Yeah. Lots of HP on Mickey too with the Vanguard. Effective HP.
Yeah, Zai getting chased a bit by Leslau.
Dire's top tower.
I don't think he's going to go any deeper here though.
Radiant
so 3 Spirit Siphons.
fortified.
Definitely push Zai off. It is daytime, so he is quite worthless.
Yeah.
Quite bad to be a day stalker.
Man, look at Zai's build. He went for Windlace Armlet. This is a very strange looking build. No boots either.
Dire's top tower.
Very value in terms of stats. If you feel like you're already getting on top of people, then this is just a super stat efficient build.
Might be in some trouble. Ice Pat's going to connect Mickey there with the Dismember. And the Macropyre even used as well, just to ensure that no Spirit Siphon shenanigans save out Leslau. So successful gank there from Liquid.
Pretty cool gank from Liquid. Like, I think Lelis felt safe being totally alone up here because he's farming against a Night Stalker. And it's a Night Stalker at daytime with no Dark Ascension, so like, why the hell would there ever be a gank coming to him? When would you think that, right? So Liquid is playing off of that. They're like, it's just a next level little play. It does mean that Mickey and Zai are in farming in the same area, which is a bit inefficient, but Zai has his TP up, so he could go bot if he wanted to.
Yeah, Quinn close to the Witchblade. He's off to a bit of a slow start. I mean, obviously we cast a lot of NA. We're used to him just dominating the laning stage. That definitely is not the case this game. But it's not like he's struggling mightily. But he's kind of middle of the pack, it feels like.
To be honest, I feel like this is a lot more of a Quinn hero than Zeus is.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot more mechanically interesting, I suppose.
You don't like jump?
Heavenly Jump is very mechanically interesting. Yeah, it's quite good. It jumps you away.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
But you have to be moving, or else it won't jump you away.
That's right, actually. That's
difficult mechanical skill.
Right, you have to have high APM for that.
Yeah.
So.
See the smoke from Soniqs here at the top lane. Trying to push the lane in as Quinn. Gonna spot out Zai, and they're gonna get off the coil. You see the TPs are coming in. The Witchblade being shown now. The Spirit Siphon there as well. Zai waits out the coil, but ends up dropping anyway to Leslau's ult. And insane, knowing that he will likely die here, just trying to kill off the wave to prevent this push. Leslau will find him with the Exorcism in all likelihood. Quinn taking out the rest of the opposing wave as the fortification is popped. But either way, Liquid will have to give up this tower. They delayed as much as they could, but nice couple kills here from Soniqs.
Lelis is top net worth on his team. He's absolutely dominating this game. By the way, he does this Soul Ring build on Death Prophet. I've not seen a lot of other people do this one. I really like it. He goes for Soul Ring and then the 2 seconds off Crypt Swarm talent. Ooh, Mickey with a nice job.
Dismember, and that is a dead Fata. So we'll get the grave off. And Mickey not interested in getting the Flesh Heap stacks, will instead just give all of it to Matu. I mean, that feels... I'm not gonna lie, watching Pudge not get the Flesh Heap stack. I know it doesn't matter as much these days, but it's just like an old habit. As Hook, not gonna connect. MSS still taking a ton of damage from Zai. Curse keeps him at bay though. Only gonna be half duration because he was all alone. Forcing onto MSS, but the Void finishes him off from Zai as the nighttime now will end.
I got a question for you, Shannon.
Yes?
Let's see if this fits.
Great question.
Oh, okay. Question. How do you feel that Mickey is using the Dota Cinema Rot, but not using the actual set?
Code remains.
Huh, that's weird. Oh, yeah, because you can do that now.
Yeah.
Right.
I also use the Rot.
Yeah, the Rot's great.
Yeah, the Rot is...
I appreciate that.
It's really good. Just the Rot.
No, I think the face is the best cosmetic in Pudge in the game. Actually, the beard.
That's right. For
Nobody's
$59.99 on the stack.
It's quite cheap, actually. I'd probably get it for $1.
It's like a few cents, yeah.
And this is what you pick Ursa for. They do get scanned out, though, so Liquid are aware. And they're keeping in. The Bear's going to scout it out. And Bear, yeah, we have the Macropire coming in as well. Boxy trying to get into the pit. War just focusing Roche on nothing else. He pops his ult. He ends up snatching the Aegis, does Boxy. So Yawar will get out of the pit without a prize for himself. They do get the Roche kill, though. That doesn't really matter too much as they're going to get the disposal onto Yawar. Pops that ult, but not going to be able to get out this time. So 2 dead in favor of Liquid. What an absolute disaster for Soniqs as they lose 4. Jesus, that was horrible.
Did Yawar get the agent?
No, it got snatched by Boxy.
It got snatched by I see. So he went down and then respawned. Man.
That was unfortunate timing for sure. See, the interesting thing about this was it felt like game 1, where it was scanned out. They knew that they were doing Roche. But Liquid went immediately.
Liquid was there in time.
And
exactly.
Soniqs were kind of slow. They were grouping up a little bit, perhaps hesitating a bit. Crossing that Roche in game number 1. See bottom lane. Got Ice Path, pretty good. It's a decent counter to the Puck hero. Mickey will miss the hook here. Not have the correct.
Radiant's middle tower
2K lead for Liquid, but just the fact that you're taking an Aegis out of an Ursa's hand when the hero is literally balanced around getting Roche.
He is. Yeah, his ability.
He does have Battle Fury though.
It literally does something, has a different reset time on the stacks for Roche. You're totally right. Liquid is just super on point with their Roche calls in this series, whether it's to take Roche or to contest Roche. So whoever's making those calls, absolutely making this series look very easy for them. With that being said, smoke on smoke action.
Yep, Leslau. His smoke might have popped there. Sure they're going to find anything, although Blink Dagger is online for Mickey. We talked about that potentially being a thing. Opting to not go Ags first, which we've seen in most, if not all games that I've cast of Pudge in this last DPC season.
This is like a mid-Pudge build.
Yeah.
Dendi actually climbed to 9.5k MMR or something like that, going Blink first. And I was seeing every other mid-Pudge go Ags, and then everybody started copying. I don't know if they copied off of Dendi, but he was the first person that I actually saw doing this, and we're taking note, man. He was owning post.
Zai is going to get the spot out onto Quinn, but the cancellation of the TP won't be there because he already used Void, so Quinn able to get out.
Radiant's top tower.
Now that I look at it, kind of a hard, if you want to call it a hard puck game, but Ice Path's out of phase shift, you got Crippling Fear, which... like, you're never going to itemize, it feels like, maybe a Force Staff. We've seen that in the past, but you're not going to get, like, a BKB on a puck. As all Quinn, speaking of which, he's going to get hooked and brought down. Zai gets credit for that as the curse just a little bit too late.
It's under attack.
And Liquid just getting basically everything that they want.
Under attack.
with a 5K lead now, firm control.
And Liquid's, I mean, they're fighting right on a ward. They're fighting directly on a ward, but that just doesn't seem to matter. Their heroes feel way stronger at this point. Part of it, I do think, is Yawar going for the Battle Fury. If he had Diffusal, then maybe showing up to these fights,
Radiant's top tower is under
it
attack.
looks a lot better for Soniqs. For a second, I was gonna let's see.
Yeah. Well, we'll really find out in the next, I want to say, 5 minutes if this Battle Fury has paid off. Because if the lead is growing even more in favor of Liquid, then this is going to be hard to come back. He is going for a BKB on the Ursa. And I will assume he's going to get a Dismember. Enrage does go off, though. So the Stats Resist is going to keep him alive a little bit longer. Ice Path into the Macro Pyre, but down goes Yawar again. And that is rough when you only have a Battle Fury in your inventory.
So I do want to say the one advantage that Pudge does have over Ursa is that status resistance does nothing against Rot. So you can just keep rotting him and stay on top of him. The problem is, like, if Ursa has any semblance of a lead, he just turns and kills you while you're doing that. Right. But in a situation like this, like, if he gets hooked out like that, maybe I can just sit on top of him and get him.
Oh, the coil misses. Zai might still be dead, though. You can see a lot of slows coming out from Sonic, so they do find the kill, but still a lot sloppier than we're used to seeing the former Quincy Crew squad. Bata is going to get disposed into the Ice Path. Leslie pops the Exorcism, though, but you can see the mobility from Liquid. Everybody's able to get out. That means a Leslie ult wasted again.
Yeah, they're just dodging the Exo. I mean, it does mean that Soniqs defends the tower. You know, they trade an Exo for the tower, but I feel like without Exorcism, with how well Lelis is doing in this game. Okay. One.
Yeah, but he's going to get the Dismember off onto Quinn. That's the Waning Rift, the Illusory Orb. Might be dead, though. McKay, the Blink Rot, tries to go for the hook, but Quinn able to blink out to safety. TP should be successful. A little bit hairy there for Quinn, but he still lives.
I mean, dude, it's just looking like, I mean, look at that engagement. Like, Mickey's feeling himself, going for these just almost like silly plays. Like, you have to get really lucky to catch a puck there, but he goes for it anyway because he knows he has this lead. And Quinn actually almost dies. Like, you are never supposed to die to a solo Pudge on puck. It's so easy to just silence him and like jaunt away. But Quinn, like, he's playing really scared.
Yeah, it makes sense considering, I mean, how many solutions they kind of have to the puck, as we've talked about. And there's not really an easy way to itemize. I'm actually curious what he's trying to build. So it actually is going to be the 4-staff. So you obviously got the blink after the Witchblade, but the fact that you have to go 4-staff on puck, as I mentioned before, it feels really bad but necessary against Crippling Fear.
I do like it. I do really like it. It's like even 4-staffing one of your allies out of Hero Stun or Dispose or Pudge Dismember, like, all of these heroes are countered to a degree by 4-staff. So, and I've even seen Quinn do this, like, just against Crippling Fear. And this was even a thing for a while to get a 4-staff on puck just to break the coil. So it is like an offensive item as well on puck. So I really like this pickup. I like that he's not being greedy, going for some Sanjin Kaya. Like, he knows his place in this game. He knows that it's looking really difficult for him. He probably feels that he's bottom net worth out of his cores, and he just needs to survive and get a couple of rounds of spells off, and they could potentially win off of Yawar having a bunch of net worth from this Battle Fury. And Lelis is having a really good game. Like, basically, Lelis is the mid in this game, and Quinn is the offlaner.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. And the fact that Quinn obviously went Blink Dagger means he's actually the main initiator in some cases.
Yep.
Obviously, if you can get the curse with the Arctic Burn set up on the terrain, then
it's tough.
Go for that, but that's, yeah, you need a lot of vision. But in terms of frontline, like, it's going to be Ursa once he gets that BKB, and the coil to kind of set him up. And the question is, do they have enough damage in that coil, or can Liquid do what they've been doing, kind of dodge these big, like, once the Exos pop, they've been out, but can they get out if they get coiled? The BKB soon to come from Zai, that'll help. Actually, I think it's on the way, delivered. The fact that he's getting that before the position 1 on the opposing team is really telling this game.
Zai's a big boy. Zai's a big boy. But I do feel like Soniqs will have a timing when they get the 2 BKBs on the 2 cores. And even the 4-staff on Quinn means that he can go for these initiations and not feel like if he blinks in, he's gonna die. Because that's kind of a problem, right? If you're Puck and you blink in to like coil somebody, and then all of a sudden Night Stalker comes in, stands right on top of you, and you don't have blink to blink out of your phase shift immediately because you blinked in to initiate, you're dead. But if you have a Force Staff, then he can be a lot more like loose with his initiations. Like you see somebody slightly out of position, you blink forward and you catch them. So I do think that there's this like 3-item timing. I mean, is there anything else on the supports that they're really close to? Maybe blink on Wyvern. Yeah, MSS is close to his blink. Although I don't know how much that really matters. I suppose it helps like Liquid can't just run away from the Exo anymore. That's been a bit of a pain, is that the Exo gets popped and Liquid just runs away. They've got very fast heroes for...
As we have a pause, as you've noticed, Leslau's the one that crashed here. I was talking to another person that I know.
Okay. Was it Cinderin? That's the other one.
It was Cinderin.
Okay.
And we were talking about dark horses. What do you think of the term white donkey? It's the opposite of a dark horse.
It sounds like a diseased animal.
Dark horse is a team that you would not expect to win, to maybe, you know, put up a fight and do pretty well for themselves.
Oh, you think overrated?
A white donkey, which now that I think about it, a bright donkey would be a better name, but we already named it white donkey for some reason. White donkey is somebody that is favored to win, but will actually not do so well. Do you think there's a team that fits the white donkey label? Moniker.
Huh. I mean, it's hard to say with so many stand-ins.
That's true.
I guess considering at least from what I heard from the round 1 of games that have been going on, apparently Outsiders got kind of stomped. I believe they played
Spoiler. Did they play?
I think they played RNG. And I'm pretty sure RNG stomped them. And remember, RNG...
That was game 1, though, only, right?
That was game 1. Okay, so... Well, I won't spoil the second game. I'll just do half a spoiler. So maybe Outsiders, because people are, like... Pretty much every person that I saw predicting had Outsiders in top 3.
So you think white donkey for Outsiders?
Maybe. I mean, if you're making me pick one...
Yeah.
They might be a...
Do you know who my white donkey was?
EG?
No, that was... I picked EG to get second again.
You did?
Actually, no, I picked them to win because it is an NA.
I like that you have faith in EG. You are a knight of faith for EG.
I didn't have faith when Fly wasn't on the team. It's literally just Fly.
You're a knight of faith.
I have faith in Fly because he's a great captain, and he's underrated.
And a great guy.
My white donkey, believe it or not, and again, this is... When you pick a white donkey, people are going to think you're crazy. That's the point of it. It was actually Liquid. Which
really?
They're looking good here.
They're looking great.
They're looking good here.
Great.
But their last couple lands have not been very good.
Doesn't that make them like just a donkey?
No.
Because
they're still the white donkey because they got first or second in DPC.
They came in strong, but the start of DPC did look shaky.
Okay.
Like Europe was actually very close.
Did they get first or second in EU? I actually can't remember.
I think they ended up they tie-braked.
Oh, they tied for second.
Check.
Because Tundra won.
They tie-braked OG for second.
Yeah. I mean, so EU probably the most competitive. Actually, maybe not. China might have been the most, but still, there's no way that is not a favored team coming into it. There's no way.
I guess if you look at the total results, it's just that Liquid, like, one day they'll underperform, another day they'll completely overperform. So I don't know. It's hard to. They're like some mix between like a donkey and a horse.
So a mule.
They're a mule. Yeah.
So
like
they're a mule. They should change their logo.
What's the middle between bright and dark?
The gray? I don't know.
What? Gray? No, we're talking in terms of light.
Right.
So what's like a
bright, dim.
A dim mule? They're like a dim mule. Right?
All right, we're going to need some people to get on the old Photoshop app, and they're going to need to redesign that Liquid logo to be a mule, apparently.
This is becoming the Gabe and Shellacking tier list. This is the same thing. It's power creeping. We're power creeping it.
That is true.
Already.
It's a mule.
Yeah.
As apparently we are ready, so this discussion can finally end. 6K lead for the Mules, a.k.a. Liquid, against Soniqs.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, we got to fix their... is that TeamSpeak? People still like that?
That would be TeamSpeak. Yeah,
really?
They're very edgy.
Wow.
That's sound quality, baby.
Wow.
The way that I said that, that sound quality, baby. You know what I mean? It sounded like I was saying, anyway.
Thank God you can stop talking now because the pause is officially over. 6K lead for Liquid. And the next Roche we won't know for a minute and a half. Liquid are going to smoke up. Want to take advantage of Mickey just being an absolute beast right now. He's still 1,000 away from finishing the Aghanim Scepter. But with Zai having that ult available, they feel pretty confident they can initiate, and they're going to do so right onto Mr. Quinn again. Down goes the puck. Great initiation from Liquid, and that is just punishing.
Yeah, if you want to know where Quinn is, you just look at the clock.
Radiant's
it's close to a 2-minute mark. He'll be at the rune.
Yeah, true.
Has been killed.
They read him like a book, no doubt.
It's like a picture book. With
Well,
just
if you're a mule,
runes.
then you need a picture book. You're not a very intelligent creature after
That's
all.
right. Mules are very, very dumb animals.
Look up how to make a mule. I actually don't know the difference between a mule and a donkey, if I'm being honest.
Half donkey, half horse. I think
That's what a mule
that's what they taught me as a
I thought
child.
How do you make a donkey then? I thought donkeys are made from horses.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
We'll find out another time as the Ags is now online for Mickey and the Basher for the Bear. Let's talk about what's on the Bear. It's been a while since we looked at that bad boy. We're going to see Fata die, but I think the Bear's items are going to be a little bit more interesting right now. We got the Deso, Mask of Madness, and Skull Basher along with the Casual Gloves of Haste. El Doge, as the Bear is called for Mr. Matu.
Yeah.
It is a panda though, so...
Next item will actually be a boots for himself, so he's not so big, fat, and slow.
Like, is there... I see some people still go for the Wraith Band in the entire inventory. Is that still actually a thing? Or is it just, like,
Gunner
you feel...
does it. Gunner does it.
So Gunner's the only one that does it these days?
That's Gunner, yeah. I think it's...
How is it? Was it nerfed? It was nerfed somehow. I can't remember exactly.
Maybe the shared armor was lowered a bit or something? I don't know.
But that actually was really weird to see, like a 6-slot Wraith Band no boots.
Yeah.
Just to give you ridiculous armor with the Bear.
Yeah, maybe 6 of them was a bit overkill. I mean, even just sharing the little bit of armor, because True Form gives you bonus armor, right? So, like, even without the Wraith Bands, it's still huge for the Bear.
Boxy sitting in Roche, scouting it out. It is available. So this is the Aegis and the Shard. And I assume you're going to agree with me here that if Soniqs do not get this Roche, then this game is going to be feeling impossible. Especially when the Ursa is so dependent on it. They're going to smoke up. Iwar does have the BKB. It's the full 9 seconds. And they desperately need to take a good fight, or this could just be a 2-0 for Liquid.
Leliseth has his BKB too, which honestly, I feel like that even matters more than Yuar's BKB. I think the EXO can do a lot in these fights.
Are scanning.
Yeah, Liquid, man, they're so on top of this Roche.
Boxy has not moved. May have crashed, but likely just scouting out Roche.
And the way that Liquid is playing top 2, this is actually quite abnormal for Dire. Like, Dire often wants to play Radiant jungle, right?
See a little mini save there onto Insani, who's at half HP right now, but see, most of the smoke here from Soniqs is dissipated now. Liquid just trying to prevent the Roche. That is like the only thing that they're trying to do here. They get some vision now in the triangle. Quinn, let's be a bit careful. Tangle and the hook actually set up by the cold embrace. Very unfortunate for Soniqs, but the BKB from Laszlo's there. He's going to pop the Exorcism. The Curse going to keep both cores in place. We can see Zai just focusing on the MSS right now. The Grave's going to keep him alive a little bit longer. BKB from Yawar and the Coil, so Matu looks to be dead. That is a big kill for Soniqs, and if they can get one more, they can easily get this Roche kill. As Boxy takes a tumble as well. Laszlo's Exorcism just past the 50% mark here. Might go for the tier 1 tower and then potentially into Roche. 50 seconds of no Matu.
Dire structures are fortified.
I mean, they can get both. You can take this tower.
Okay, we have the buyback coming in. The Blink Dismember, Ice Path as well, but Laszlo healing up now that the Exorcism is gone. Dispose actually stuns 2 heroes. Brave onto Laszlo. He's going to stay alive just fine. They're going to get the kill onto Mickey, who buys back in the game as well. Ice Path going to connect onto 2. Looks like Fata's finally going to drop here. And the Dispose keeps Yawar in place. And it looks like, in the end, Liquid do find the core kills that they were looking for. The 1 core kill, which is Ursa. but it did cost him several buybacks. The hook connects. Mickey. Leslau is done.
Dire's middle tower.
Now the question is, can they Roche? Matu's up in 5 seconds. If they go into the Roche pit, I believe Soniqs will have to buy back to try to contest this.
I don't know. I don't know if you do. I feel like Soniqs, you give this up, you play off of the fact that if you kill Mickey, he has no buyback. He's probably going to be taking Aegis as a result of this. But still, like, a Pudge could probably die twice. I like that they're not buying back here. I think that this gives them a better window into the game, because if they all buy back, it's going to be too expensive. They don't even have the exorcism.
Oh, yeah. Mickey gets the shard. So Dismember will be able to devour his own teammates and heal them. Yep. Most annoying thing about that is teammates jumping out prematurely and not getting healed. I'm sure they can manage that as a professional team, I would hope.
That's right. There's a shocking amount of people that don't realize you can stay in there.
Yeah.
Because they're just so used to clicking constantly in Dota, they click to move and then they get out. But it's an amazing Pudge Ag shard game.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. You can pull somebody out of Coil, you can pull them out of like Ursa if they get veered by Death Prophet.
Well, I was going to say that based on the core Pudge games I've seen in this patch, Shard has almost never been purchased, at least.
Yeah, it's weird.
Because it doesn't really fit it's not like a support Pudge that's saving you necessarily, but you do have the Blink Dismember to save, but then you're not using it offensively, which pretty much the reason you're picking this hero is to do like a shit ton of damage.
Yeah, as a core, probably the best thing about the Shard is the 5-second cooldown reduction. To be honest, I was hoping they would leave this at 10 seconds.
It was nice.
It was very nice at 10 seconds.
Wasn't it 15 at one point?
I'm not sure. It was definitely 10.
It was
at a point. And,
very nice.
And it was nice. It was very
Are
nice.
fortified.
Like, you just constantly have Dismember after you go for the Dismember duration talent as well. It felt good. Pretty insane uptime on that spell. But you know, it gives you more options in team fights, and in Dota, the more options you have, the exponentially more likely you are to win the game, because the enemy team is trying to figure out this puzzle of like how to beat you in a fight, and you add another option, there's like many permutations based on now that option that you have to win the game. It's nice to have around.
We have another smoke, another ult from Zai.
Dire's top tower.
Looks like he's just gonna traverse some terrain to get some map control back.
Yeah, they don't think that Soniqs is just sitting in their base.
But
like
they are. Yeah,
they are. They're like, surely they must be sitting in the trees somewhere, right? Nobody wants to just sit and do nothing. Ironically, Soniqs is making the correct play of just sitting in the base, otherwise they'd be caught by this.
Yeah, but of course, in doing so, they're losing even more map control, even more of a lead discrepancy.
Yep.
9K now for Liquid.
Zai also had the gem for that little movement that he made there, so fully dewarded that jungle or made sure that there's no vision up there, which means that as Liquid runs down bot, they know that Soniqs is not going to feel comfortable heading out towards top. So it's actually kind of a cool play, because there's nowhere for Soniqs to go. Now Liquid knows that, so all they do is they sit down here, and it's like, what if Soniqs going to keep sitting in their base? They've got to make a move at some point.
Radiant are scanning.
Also, something very fearsome about a lone druid with an Aegis that can just push extremely hard. Obviously, it doesn't have Ags, so can't separate from the bear too much. Back in the day, Aegis used to be really bad on lone druid. We'll talk about that another time. As Forstaff not going to save Insanity. He's still stuck on the low ground here. Coil only connects onto one, but they do find Insanity at the very least. Curse, but there's the hook save. Beating his teammates a little bit. Can't dismember them, but a nice waning rift onto 3 heroes. Quinn with that Witchblade doing so much damage, but there's the buyback from Insania, keeping it onto the outpost now. Jawar has already used his ultimate. Zai ends up using the Blink Dag with that crippling fear, but you can see ends up getting a nice hook from Mickey, so that finishes off MSS. As Fata's gonna have to grave himself. Quinn doing a little bit of damage, but can't do much through BKB at the moment. Zai eats another creep, so back to a healthy amount of HP. Mickey focusing on Jawar. He's getting extremely low. Double kill for Mickey, and down goes the bear again. 12K lead for Liquid. And now they can continue to push. That exorcism is coming back to Leslau. He's going to heal up, but now he doesn't have a whole lot of damage to work with. And the hook again, nice job from Mickey. Ends up bringing Leslau down to the low ground. The buyback is forced out from Quinn. You can see the Ice Path keeping that Death Prophet in place. Now the damage though onto Mickey might cost him his life here. Looks like it will. It did cost the buyback at the very least onto the puck. Onto TP's at the bear. And it looks like the rest of Liquid should be okay. Well, they might want to go back in.
Yeah, they have the Bear's back.
Mask of Madness ready to go. Aurora ends up missing. Matu gonna get some cover thanks to that ult from Insania. And that might back them up now, but Aegis expiring in 20 seconds as well. And after that fight, it cost a couple buybacks. Liquid still growing their lead.
Yeah, that was a classic fight of where Pudge goes in, hits a hook, we're like, oh, what a hook, he just dies. That's a Pudge classic. Yeah, the thing with Death Prophet versus Pudge is, sure, the Spirit Siphon's not doing that much damage through the Pudge Flesh Heap. However, Spirit Siphon is one of the suck abilities in the game that doesn't need to actually take the enemy's HP. It's you just heal based on the damage that it like should do, which is really funny. So she heals the full HP even though he's like mitigating almost all the damage.
A prize.
So to that, you know, to that effect, like Death Prophet is still quite good against Pudge, even though a lot of her damage is now mitigated by his Flesh Heap.
Yeah.
She still heals to full.
I mean, they have 2 percentage-based damage sources anyway. So tanky heroes, theoretically, like this lineup does make sense, but again, the 2 Roches are really... It's
always the Roche.
Story here for Liquid.
Yeah, it's always the Roche. Did you know, actually, that Radiant in Dire has a 60% win rate in
Really?
the DPC. Yeah, Dire's a 60% win rate.
That is interesting.
And a big reason that people used to like Radiant is because of the Roche control. Because you would play in the enemy jungle, you play in the Dire jungle, which means you're around Roche. However, people are not really just sitting in jungles anymore. As we saw with that play that Zai made, where he just pops ult and then scans the jungle and runs immediately back, people are kind of sweeping across the map more. Dire is often playing in their own jungle to secure Roche, and Liquid is doing an incredibly good job at that. That's exactly why they're getting the Roche on, is because they're realizing that what jungle you're in doesn't really matter. What matters is Roche. That's what matters. As Zai, of course, picks up one of the chattest items in the game.
Yeah, as a 3rd item.
This feels so nice when you believe.
A lot of times you'll see that as like a 5th, 6th item, but in that inventory, that looks a little weird, I'm not gonna lie.
It's good.
With the lead.
I think it's an item that if it feels like if you get it when you're winning, it really pressures, like he can jump the backline supports, it slows so much, they're just dead. It can feel like a grief in other games though. Like if you lose one fight and you go back to even, then it can feel like a grief. I'd much rather something that actually has some utility.
Zai with the ult again. He has the gem, of course, and he will continue to eat creeps thanks to his shard, which he's had for a long time. He rushed that pretty fast, and that gives a nice farming capability for Night Stalker that doesn't usually have. And they've already dewarded 2 pretty valuable wards for Soniqs, who are now essentially in the dark. In fact, I don't think they have 1 observer up anywhere. Just a couple sentries scattered about. So this is going to be a blind smoke. You can tell this... I don't know. It's obviously risky, but I think you have to go for something like this.
They're just trying to keep their heroes hidden. Venture out. It's now officially nighttime.
They see Mickey. He's going to pop the BKB, looking for the Dismember. It'll be on Yawar, but he's also BKB, so not a whole lot of damage between the 2 of them. Lezat chasing with the Exorcism, and again, Liquid disengaging once they see those green spirits come out. The curse keeps Matu at bay. He's going to get beat down by his bear. The coil is going to break, but looks like he's going to be okay thanks to that hook from Mickey. Yawar and company looking to potentially reset. Mickey could eat Matu if he really wants to. Matu already in his true form, so there's a lot of extra HP to work with. Ice Bat's going to connect onto the Death Prophet, and Boxing Company beating the crap out of Fato and Lesla, the first 2 to fall in this engagement. And now the chase is on, and Yawar dies next. 3 kills for Liquid, and nothing for Soniqs. Looking for more, and the Dispose will cancel the TP, so a 4th kill for Liquid. In all likelihood, MSS staying alive a little bit longer. But obviously with no TP, he's going to be hard-pressed to get out of this, although he does traverse some trees. Zai, Zai finds him in the end, and now the rest of Liquid just pounding on these towers. Glenn left to his lonesome here. Not a whole lot for him to do.
Mickey is one of the 2 people in the world that uses Cap's voice line. The other one is Cap.
As they jump Quinn. He can't get away. 100 seconds, no buyback, and the push will be strong because you got a bear on your side. So Liquid end up taking this 2-0 in pretty convincing fashion, I'm not going to lie. And Soniqs, well, could it just be... I mean, we've talked about their performance on LAN. It feels like early on in tournaments, they are